All right, let's play. I'm gonna shake my shoulders a little bit here just to see if we're live or not. And if we are, then you get all this awesomeness. All right, cool. I never really know when a video is started live on here. I'm coming out right now and sharing a bit here. Just really in the space of mainly because I had an idea and it kind of bothered me that that I had this thought and didn't know, well, didn't feel comfortable putting it out into the world. Uh, and I think that like that's my compass. That's my compass for when I decided to make a Facebook Live. That's when I decided to go live anywhere, and that's when my compass for knowing when I'm going to say anything. When I say my compass, what I mean is that that's the thing that guides me. Right now, courage is really important to me, and using that to be able to go down a path that uh, that I wouldn't go and that most others wouldn't as well. The uncharted journey is what's on my mind, and that's where I'm like focusing all my time. Like I'm working with my clients on it. I'm working. I have this new mastermind community that's called the Courage Gym, and that's we're literally doing workouts to be more courageous and step outside of the paths that we've been settled in for over the months, years, without even recognizing it. So right now, there's something that came up. I was actually participating in someone's community, and they said, "What do you want me to know about you?" And I wrote in there, um, my counterintuitive truth. And as I was writing it, I found myself feeling uncomfortable. I was like, "Can I say this? Should I say this in this space?" Um, and that's when I knew. I was like, "Uh oh." If I'm doubting this, if I'm doubting that this should be said, then the only way forward, the only path forward is to actually make sure it gets voiced, and use that so that I can see what's on the other side, so I can see what I can make of it. So I'm going to share here my counterintuitive truth, and I'm also going to invite you right now to come and join me on. By the time it's recorded, we're going to be able to do this on Tuesday, January 26th, 2021 at 1 p.m. Eastern for a conversation to actually go even further on all this here. I love to hold spaces with people. I love to create powerful spaces where people get a chance to meet one another, but also meet themselves, and do it through powerful coaching, through breakout rooms, through this like a deep, intense, life changing conversation. That's what this year is about, and making sure we're doing it about the right things. So talking about the right things right now, what's showing up is this truth here. We're on a path. For me, unity is like I'm on it. I like game on. I've called it inclusion in the past. I've called it belonging in the past. Unity, if that's what we're calling it right now, awesome. Let's play that game. And the thing for me here is to really call out like what might that path to unity actually look like. And my counterintuitive truth is that most people believe that the path to unity is by finding out what we have in common. But the true path to unity is one that is done by celebrating and valuing what we have that makes us different. Celebrating and valuing our differences. Like that to me is like the way forward to actually bringing in some kind of experience that brings us closer together. Uh, this has been something that I've been seeing for years here, where I think about my experience working in the corporate world, where I don't know, just the idea of like trying to bring diversity and inclusion together, and the way to do that is to first divide everyone up into like you're in the African American group, or you're in like you're in the Asian American group, or like we're gonna just keep like our goal is for us to have a place that's really inclusive, so we're going to just keep dividing all of you up. That felt like a counterintuitive approach. I'm like, how is this working? How would you go about doing this? And it's really been something that's been on my mind for a long time. I think I really experienced it when I went to the Olympics in 2016, and what was really interesting about that was when I got there, we I was voting. I was on Team USA. I was wearing the USA clothes, and what was happening was that any person that came up, as long as they were wearing USA, like in the red, white, and blue, like we were like instantly friends. And if you weren't wearing that, like we were trying to like gauge and see how do we play, how do we all fit in this space, and that really gave me a chance to see like, oh, this thing that we talk about with um, it's all made up. The way that we decide to come together is completely made up. in this space where people would feel in a global environment where you feel out of place, the way that you feel that you can actually feel like a part of something is to say who else is wearing the same clothes as mine, who else is gone, who else comes from the same country as me. And I'm like, this is the same thing that happens within the workplace, or within my community groups, or within like just every space that I'm in. We're always looking for who's like me. And it just dawned on me there. I'm like, we as humans, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to, like, when I think about, and I don't know too much about this, so like, feel free to come and educate me more. But when I think about class systems, when I think about people with socioeconomic disparity, when I think about caste systems, when I think about like history, when I like going back and thinking years and years and years, no, that's not enough. Decades, millennia, millennia, millennia. Like what we do is that as humans we find things and we say this is how we are the same and this is how they are different, right? To me, I think that the place that's missing is like, if we go down the path of trying to figure out how we're the same, we haven't really changed anything much. The actual way to get out of this cycle is to not just say we need to all be the same, or let's find out how we're all in common, but instead to look at each other and be like, you're different, I want to get closer. You're different, I want to know you more. In fact, like, I'm practicing this, and it's a really interesting practice for me. Like when I find someone who is very similar to me, I get immediately disinterested. I'm just like, okay, what can you bring me that I don't already have? Like, I would love to get to know you and what is unique or what's different about you. And I think that in this space here, as we're looking to move forward, I want to make sure that we keep an eye out here, that we don't accidentally recreate paths that haven't worked. Like, yes, like, I'm so for unity, and I'm not going to stop anyone that's looking for commonality. I get it. Like, I don't think it's either or. I actually think it's all the things. But I want to make sure that we're not just only going down the path of let's find out what we have in common. For a lot of us, the idea of commonality and such is incredibly restricted, and to me, it's like a subtle way of exerting pressure, not even beyond pressure, power, and ownership over someone, right? The way to say, if you want to fit in, you got to find yourself in one of these boxes, because that's what we have determined to be the commonality. If you want to actually to move forward with something, what we're going to do is actually just sit here and compromise with each other, which to me it just sounds silly. It's like going through life with lose lose in order to be able to find commonality. Of course we create like the environments that we have, the strifes, the struggles, the challenges, the confrontations that we have, because we're entering into it in a place where there isn't an abundant way for both parties to come out on top. The only solution that when I play it out keeps working out is the idea that, look, we are different. That is not a bad thing. We don't need to be against each other because we're different. Instead, we can look for that and actually celebrate that and value it. Now, I'm going to be working on this. This has been my mission for years here. It feels really great to be able to take this to, let's look. I'm looking at America right now, to take it to a national scale, and say, okay, on a national level, let's talk about unity in the context of bringing America together and so forth. But this whole thing like has ripple effects all the way down to the core, to our core interactions, to the way that you and I interact with each other, and the way that you interact with your teams, with your family, with the person you meet at the grocery store, or the way that, or the person who even just like drops over your drive-in things, since we're in COVID times here, right? The idea here is, are we able to see each other as different and be glad and grateful for it? Because the one thing that I have that seems to be the case here, and the reason that we're able to get to our what makes us common, is because we're able to figure out what makes us different. I'm inviting you to take another path here, and rather than saying what makes us different and using that to vilify or to push someone else away, which is part of the consequence of choosing commonality as the path, I'm going to invite you to go out and actually choose something different. Choose something different. I like that right now. Yeah, go out. That might even be like a tagline. Choose something different. Um, I'll play with that. There's a game there. There's a game. I'm going to invite you to choose something different. And in the very moment, the moments that you have when you can look to try and see what do we have in common, I'm going to invite you to choose something different and actively search for what you have or what that person has that's different from one another. So we have room for collaboration, room for innovation, room for growth, and there's no need for competition in that space. It's just co-creation. There's only things that can come from there. So I have I've stated my point. This is what I'm about right now. On Tuesday, January 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be bringing together my tribe of trailblazers to really lean into their differences, right? And to celebrate that so that they can bring out their unique contribution in the upcoming months and years. So if you want to be a part of that there, if you want to understand what makes you different, if you want to understand what makes you distinct, if you want to feel great and embrace what makes you different and actually own that so that we can continue to make the efforts of unifying our teams, our ourselves, our country, our communities, whatever it is that where your focus is. If you want to come and do that work with us, come join us at 1 p.m. on January 26th Eastern time. It's 1 p.m. Eastern. You can go to niyama.com/tribe. I'm invited my tribe to come and be a part of these conversations. I love supporting the people, the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity, and that's who you're going to be with when you come. Whether there's one person there or there's 30 people there, I'm going to be serving so powerfully that this world changes as a result of this conversation. That's the game that we're playing. So here is my invitation to you. Choose something different. I'll talk to you soon. Peace out. Bye. Hey, Oniyama here. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and then go ahead and leave one of your insights from today's video in the comments below. If you're looking to take this deeper, you can go and watch another video, or you can go to niyama.com/tribe to get exclusive invitation to our tribe member only events. I'll see you soon.